ladies and gentlemen, this is Zero Ravens here, and as you can see, alright, today we'll be talking a bit about armor, your first early armors and your weapons, and a little bit about combat. I'm going to specifically have this all about the combat, and as you can see, I have picked up quite a few. It's not a whole lot by any means, but no, we'll go through the two of the easier enemies to fight in order to get one of my favorite combos, the quick barrage and the full circle combo. It's pretty sweet, especially since this is melee and it's not unarmed. Let's see here. So let's see here. For when you're looking through the skills, you will see, different colors. You can ignore the wordings. It's really the colors that matter. They all mean the same thing. But it's like you have an attack types. Like right here is pretty simple. It's like the attack type is red and yellow, which is marked on the the ability, and the openings is one of the biggest parts of the combat system in Haven and Hearth. Basically, the more openings you have on an opponent, the more damage it will do. But as you see here, as this is a perfect example, the attack type is yellow and red. But as you can see, it only does adds plus 15 to green and plus 5 to red. That is where quick barrage comes in. There you are. One thing I love about quick barrage is not only does it uses your weapon, even though it's only 25% of the base damage, it can really stack up. It can really stack up the openings in order so you can do as much damage as you can with full circle. Of course, I don't have it, but there's another one using I think it was uppercut and side sweep. If you get those first for whatever reason, that's another good combo to use. But I'll show this in practice as we go. As you can see, last time before we checked, I did sign up with the village, whatever base, one of those markets. Yeah, they get kind of wild in the chat sometimes, but there's decent people so far. If you are an older person, or if you've been around for a while, then you'll know like Hoggy and Molehill, as well as the Dewy Hermits. Those are all, for new players, those are all markets, and it's almost getting time for them to start up. And then once they get the everything set up, I can show you the how to get there and how to use thingy walls. But until things are ready, we'll save that for another moment, or for another video. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I can't seem to do anything without getting sidetracked. But you're starting. You see, it's melee unarmed. Okay. So your main deck will be kind of looking like a punch and low blow, as well as your evasive. These will be all that you will start off with. And one thing I can say when you're going through, your best bet is to, even though low blow looks pretty cool, because, was it left hook? I think it was left hook. Okay, excuse me, I'm tripping. Um, but left hook and punch. While you can see like 15 damage versus 10, then you have 80% of your attack weight being on your unarmed, where this is neutral. Neutral meaning it uses the your flat unarmed bonus, and this only uses 80% of your unarmed bonus to help you understand this a bit. I still would highly recommend just using punch itself, simply because the cooldown is really low and you can spam it. Not as quick as quick barrage, but the punch is pretty good starting off. Like, I just right click it off, call it a day. But we'll go and I'll show you one of the first few enemies you can fight, or that I do recommend that you start fighting, and I'll show you how to combat them. First up is, a lot of people will know, the good old bats, which can be found in any caves, as well as the overworlds at certain times at night. I believe when the moon is different. That's one thing with this game, is the different cycles of the moon will spawn different things. Like, the full moon is probably the most dangerous for any new person without walls, because wolves, very dangerous if you're not sure what you're doing. But as you can see over here, I'm just trying to start off with some taming. Once I get things done, get the process finished, I'll show you how simple it is. It's just you have to make sure you have decent gear. But when I have a success, I'll show you on that. One thing to do note is to try to have, when you get done with bats here, is to at least try to have some armor, or some decent armor. Of course, if you're catching rabbits a lot, you can easily make yourself a batch of leather. You just have to go out and get some leather. Give me a bat. Give me a bat. Give me a group of bats, that'd be better. Alright, now as you see here, we have a bat. We're going to go ahead and we're going to strip, just so you can see, how it goes. I do have a bit of strength and agility, so we'll try to make it fair for the bat, and that's fine. One thing to do note, when you're if you're out killing these, we'll do that later. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get our combat set up to unarmed. Remember, always click save when you're done, just so you make sure you're on this for current bar for that. But right now we're going to do, alright, when you're fighting bats, if there's like multiple bats, one of the best things you can do is peel back a bit, and then you can attack them. Another way of doing it is, if you don't have a shield or not using one, you can have a sling on one side, and then you can just toss a rock at it to damage it. So then you can finish it off with either your axe or your unarmed with your fists. But let's see. We'll show you here. This one's you can. Oh, you kind of run back a bit, and then you just want to spam it. When this gets up to like about 30, 45, you can want to spam your restorations. That will lower your opening. And then you can keep on piling on. And this is why I like punch, because this is your cooldown time. Another trick you can do is run behind the bats. Sometimes they'll run the opposite way. Oop, I have auto piece on, don't do that. Alright. Just keep punching them. Like that. So you want to use your restorations when they get up to almost like 50. Because that will reduce the overall damage that you take. And reducing damage. See, now he's running. You can also spam restorations while they're running. So if you want to do multiple fights, also helps to have sprint on. And there you go. Oh, we got another skill, combat skill. And that's pretty much it. You will probably need to kill at least 4 bats while we're on the subject to get these bat wings. While they are a decent curiosity, one of their best makes and uses for traveling through the caves. Let's see, armors and helmets, no. Extras, no. Where are you at? Cloaks and robes. The Batwing, to become the banana Batman of the caves. It does add armor, but even if this breaks, it is still very useful because it has a gilding slot to it. So you can gild it, and while it's broken, you can still use it to stealth your way through caves. So don't throw away your bat wings once you make them, even if they break. But we're going to go ahead and take them off. And okay. Now if you don't have a set of bat wings, or you just want to get around them, your best bet is just to crawl right past them. And they will not aggro. If you get too close though, they can aggro. But if you're just passing through, you can just crawl and you'll be okay. And that's kind of about it for the bats. You can get a variety of different skills. You can occasionally get different ones. There's like bats can drop think, which is a special move you can do. It will give you +2 initiative, which you can use on certain moves like Sword of Storms or Chop. The most things that you're looking for from the bats, besides there's think and there is Flex, which reduces your red, and you don't start with the red, so that's kind of really good right there. But the best ones that they can drop for you, there is Chop. It does take 1 initiative point, but you can get like Low Blow, which each time you use it, it'll give you an initiative point. Which we'll go ahead and we'll show you on the initiatives real quick. And Chop. And yes, while adding cards, it does add to the power of the ability or whatever it is you're using. I don't know the math, but you know, more is always better, at least in my book. So if you get multiples, just add them in and you'll be okay. But okay, now if you do get Chop, it's not too bad. With Punch, Low Blow to get the points up. This one's let me see. Oh no, it's on here. My melee is a lot better than my unarmed. So when you going stuff like this, I guess this is a good time to talk about maneuvers. Maneuvers, they basically affect your openings. Like so the enemy does 10, does an attack that does 10 to your openings. It will be reduced by by your maneuvers, because one of my favorites is shield up, which is really good. It's your melee times 250%, but that's if you have a non-broken shield. If your shield is broken, this will do nothing for you and you will take more damage, basically, or more openings onto you. Yeah, so make sure you never have shield up when you don't have a shield, because that's a death sentence in this game. But let's say you have more melee than you want 2 arms. You only want 1 maneuver at any time on your bar, because if you have like shield up and then melee, you will have to manually click on one of these 2 or you will have no maneuvers, and once you do that you have a cooldown, so that's less time, more clicking. So just keep 1 maneuver on, and it will always be active as soon as you start combat. But as chop is a common one most people get, you will need to get low blow. I don't think the game will let you get chop without any initiative points, because let's see, low blow +1 to that, and then chop. Oh, we got 2 for chop. Yeah. Alright, so as far as initiative points go, right here, let me just get these on real quick. Wow. Okay. So alright. So and how initiatives work is certain moves, they will give you initiative. Here, let's go ahead and start this up against this poor little bat. Alright. So here's one combo you can do. You can punch up its openings up. Make sure to keep yours in check. You want a low blow, you see this 1? That is your initiative points. And this is the enemies, that they'll do certain attacks. But you want to try to keep your openings low. Just get up your initiative points. Then you want to spam your willies with this punch to get their green openings up. And then you want to hit just spam shot. Oh, I forgot Outpost again. But yeah, that's just a little brief on the initiative points. You need those for certain moves like chop. There you are. Let's see, chop takes them, punch them both, no. Haymaker, no. But like chop and Sword of Storms, you see it takes 4 initiative points. Yeah, you'll need to get that number up to either 1 for just to use chop once, or 4 just to use Storm of Swords once. Storm of Sword is, of course, you have to have a sword to use, so it's kind of useless to me right now. But I have it. And if you find yourself a village, or if you're able to get yourself metal, then you'll be able to do so. You can trade things like tar or wax. Wax is pretty big right now, and it will be for a while. So, so once you get through enough bats, you'll have your bat cape to help you with the going through caves, as well as having a gilding slot. But you also have your armor. So once you get enough leather to get you some armor, I think it's like about 8 let me double check. I think it's 8. No, not that. Yeah, 8 leather and 4 string. And if you remember from before, all of these show is the base of quality of 10. So if you make it better, like it says right here, 200 durability, 4 out of 5 armor. This one's quality 20, almost 23, but it has 400 in wear and 6 out of 8 armor class. While it does have a -2 to agility, it's just, you know, the trade-offs. I mean, obviously, agility will limit your mobility, so it's kind of there, but what the 6 out of 8 means, or the 4 out of 6, it's basically your soft hit points and your hard hit points, and how much it will protect you on each attack that you receive. Let's see. Okay, I've only got a punch sword. It'll go away pretty quickly. But pretty much the armor will prevent you having from a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, I got attacked by a not so nice person when I was visiting the village and trying to get stuff done, you know, get leather. I got messed up bad, so alright, hello there, sorry, a quick insert. While I'm reviewing the footage, I'm going through and I realized I forgot one of the, I guess you could say pretty decent, it's a fairly new armor that they have added to the game to help people out. But there is the woodland armor, you got the greaves, and then of course you have the couriers. Of course, it is nowhere near as decent as leather armor, but the thing is it only takes bone glue. So 10 bones for a bone glue and some really easy to get stuff. So if you're having issues trying to get leather, or if you need to get your palisade up but you want to go hunting, you can use the woodland armor, but it of course has it's not as good, and it will take 10 whole bones to do. But that is, in one ideal, a lot cheaper than 8 leather that you have to wait 30 hours in the tanning tub right after it gets done for about, what, 16 or so hours on the drying rack. So when you're starting off, you could make do with the woodland armor, and that'll get you situated as best as you can. And another thing, I do apologize, is I kind of briefly spoke with the, with the metal on with the villages. You need metal for a lot of things, and I'm going to try to keep this combat orientated, but trying to clarify myself here. But if you can get your hands on, you trade out of wax, and this one's one of the best things you can do, is besides for making a frying pan, is making these nice little trinkets. Lead talisman, that's +2 to your strength, and it goes to your neck slot, so that's pretty sweet, especially if you're mining. And the white metal ring, which is 2 nuggets of lead or tin with a clay, and this is one of the best rings you get, that you can get. 2 intelligence and the strength, and 3 to the learning ability, which is your attention. So I'm sorry I didn't clarify that much, but another good armor when you're hunting rabbits, you have a chance when you clean them to get a Lucky's rabbit's foot, which will get you at least +3 to your agility. which is really good when you're lacking in agility foods. You know, you want to get into combat better. If you're lucky enough to get a rabbit's foot, you can make one of these nifty rabbit's foot necklaces, and that'll help you out in the agility department. Or, you know, to use it to offset the agility loss from your leather or your woodland armor. So, as one and another thing while we're here, I might as well go through guildings. But you can go, if you manage to get moles, or if you get a horse, you get a mole, you have a chance to get a mole's paw. You can get those, and you can get the bog turtles from the swamps. Those are considered as fine bone, which you can use to make the beast ring. And that one is just an additional to your strength and agility. So those are some early things you can do. I know it's not really armor, but it helps you out in combat, as well as other things like mining. When you have enough hides when you're hunting through the bats, you already have your bat cape. You can also use squirrel tails as part of the hide and leather. The hide layer is one of my really a solid choice of a gilding, because you can see +2 to your unarmed, your melee, and your survival. All it takes is 3 prepared hides, or dried, finished off the racks, and you can. There's also, if you're doing ranging, there's also the rough guard patch, which will give you a good +3 to your marksman, as well as bonuses to your survival and perception. It is a little bit more, I guess you could say, expensive with needing a full leather with some bone glue, but if you're doing a lot of hunting, this will be no problem. But if you're curious on the hide straps, you go to your, best to use the dried squirrel tails, and you can tear them up into hide straps. And yeah, that'll help you get you to the layer patch. And one thing, a little advice here. If you don't really want to go and navigate all the way up to the processing materials when you have your like say I want to make this hide layer, but I have to make these hide straps, you can click on it, and there you go. I hope you enjoyed that little life hack right there. Gotta love the shortcuts. But yeah, that'll help you out. So of course, guildings you can attach to you can attach to your cape, your nettle pants, or even the grass. If you have a spruce cap, you can put that on there, so that's like 2, 4. If you make a hide cloak, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can have quite a bit that'll really help you out and get started into. That'll help you get up to the stats that you need to start fighting, especially like the fox. You hunt out a bunch of bats to get your leather. You make you a bunch of, or just the dried hides, make you your hide layers, and that will really help you get to where you need to be. Okay, and so that's just a quick insert. I do apologize, but I feel like I shouldn't have. It's one of those days, but please forgive me. Alright, back to the video. Unfortunately, this is one of the perks if you, even if you're a hermit, or if you're just looking for people to play with, villages, you'll have to kind of look around or go on the Discord to find people. And you can just trade for different things. It's always good to have like Well, wet wax is worth a lot right now. Well, one wax can get you like 4 or 5 ingots of metal. And that's just how valuable it is right now. So they do a lot of things with wax. It's mostly like mine holes and getting really strong armor.
Alright. I know I said for combat, but I keep mentioning wax and not many people will understand what I'm trying, how to get wax in general. You can get, when you have the beekeeping, this is the easiest way to get the wax. When you have the beekeeping lore or skill unlocked, beekeeping, you will be able to start raiding hives. And how you do that is once you learn it, adventure, smoking fire, bow fire, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just underneath it. If you see it here, but you can also see it on the mini map. There's like a little hive like this, wild bee hive. You would build it. The bow fire, then just for time's sake, I will kindle it. And then you wait 15 whole minutes. If you're out and about, you just gotta expect the easiest thing you can do is just log out. I will do, and I will cut back when this hive is ready. "15 minutes later, as you see, the bow is smoldered, and you don't see bees on the hive anymore. You can right click it and hit raid. And as you can see, you get this right here. Honeycomb is vital, and it's sweet. I got 3 larvae. You need 3 larvae to make your own beehive with some straw, and then you can start producing your own wax. It takes some time, but trying to keep on topic, you go to any boiling cauldron with 10 of these odd honeycombs, and you can produce 1 beeswax. I do apologize, this wasn't related, but I hate that bringing something up that's very important and vital and not mention it, because you can make that your thing. You can have beehives with a farm, and you can go out and collect a bunch of the honeycombs, and you can make wax. You can also go to the swamp when you have a high enough perception and exploration. And with 5 candleberries, they are very rare to find, and they usually get snapped up by other people. So they have yeah, the real quick insert on that, so you understand how to get wax, so you can start trading. Yeah, but real quick on the bee skips, when you make them, you see, at least with the range, you must have crops growing within this range. Like if they're done, like they're 3 out of 3, then it will not contribute to the bee skip to get you the wax. So just make sure you constantly have stuff growing, and you will see like a red ring around the bee, or around the bee skip. But if you're using Ender, then it will highlight green, and then you can harvest your wax. Okay, so you can get that trading and get the stuff you need. And just remember, wax is very valuable, and it will be for a while. So, okay, that's it. Back to the video then. Sorry to get too long.
As you can see, you know, your total hard armor would, and your soft armor. Your soft armor, you know, it's just what, as I just said, your soft HP and your hard HP. You can kind of fight the bats with, I would say maybe like 15 to 20 unarmed. And if you make a bunch of nettles clothing, like you can have nettle pants here, nettle pants there, and that'll give you 4 extra agility right there. It's really easy to make. It's like 6 for each of the nettle shirts and about 4 for the pants. So that's just a bit of gathering, and you can get the +4 to your agility. But when you catch your rabbits and you eat them, it will increase your agility. More agility is always better, especially if you plan on using armor. But another thing, I do apologize. Agility has a big role in combat. If you have more agility than your target, or whatever you're fighting, then your moves, they will reset faster. Like if I was stupid enough to fight a lynx or a cat, which I do not plan on sacrificing myself for the sake of that, but basically if you try to use like that punch move that I was just spamming, it would take a lot longer for it the cooldown, because the lynxes have a ridiculous amount of agility. So do be careful with that. It's not a fun time. Let's see, what else is there? I guess, well, let's get back to safety, and I'll briefly go through the different your base attributes and your abilities, and the various things that they affect. So we'll see you there. And now that we are in safety, I'll kind of try to go through the best I can. This game is very in-depth, but I'll basically give you a brief overview and kind of what they are used, the different attributes are used for. All in all, you will be using, you know, multiple things, your attributes, as well as your abilities to make certain items. You see, like a lot of items, when you click on them, you will see a lot of them will have like a base attribute and a ability score, but there's also, then you got things like these where it will take 2 attributes as well as it'll just take multiple things. So depending on what you want to do, it's probably best to have at least a base 10 in everything. I'm still working on this, but I won't really be doing marksmanship. I am trying to set up another so I can show you an easier way to hunt if you don't like, you know, constantly healing or having your armor break, or you need some help with that. So, you know, it's always a good idea to keep an idea of what you're going through. I have a feeling this is gonna, hopefully won't be a 2-hour video again. I do apologize, but we'll get through there. But we'll start off with good old strength. Strength does impact your melee abilities a little bit, you know, as well, you know, unarmed. But the main thing for strength is mining. We'll show you a bit about mining and trying to start off with it. Mining is more of a mid-game kind of thing, because a lot of it requires a ridiculous amount of strength. Like 27, that means nothing. Even if I have kind of a decent quality axe, that's just a whole mess. when we get to mining, I'll explain it better to you. But basically, you have a stone axe and a pickaxe, as well as the tinkerer's axe, which is basically like it's worse than the pickaxe, but each have a different mining strength, and it's the quality as well as the damage is multiplied by your strength, and it's some funky formula, but just it's hard to explain. You know, I'm not the genius that made this game, so friendly reminder to send love to Jorb and Loftar. Yep, just 2 people made all this, and this game did not look like this. But you can see Legacy Haven. Anyways, constantly going off track, I'm sorry. But yeah, strength is mostly used for mining. Agility is mostly used not just for you know, your cooldowns in combat, but it is also used as a defense. Agility, as far as defense wise, is your agility times your marksmanship. So when you're getting somebody is attacking you with a like a bow or a sling, it is their perception and marksmanship against your agility and marksmanship. So it's something to keep in mind. Even if you're just a melee character, having a higher marksmanship will definitely help you out. And intelligence is kind of obvious when you're looking through things. Its primary use, aside from constructing different items, is your study report. How much things, if you haven't watched my last video, it's kind of like you see here with mental weight under this number 6. You see the 963, the mental weight. That is basically the amount of attention it will take up. So obviously having more intelligence means more curios you can study. And it's very nice to have. Don't want too much of it, but you can have, I guess while we're here, you can fill up this entire study report. Of course, you have your whatever claim that you have will be here, and every time you finish a curiosity, obviously you get the learning points, but it will add presents to your bond, which is basically, you know, it's AFK prevention. Like if you're away from the game for like a month or 2, the presents will go down, and you know, people can just walk in your claim and it's just deactivated. So make sure you keep your curiosities going and your presents. One little tip on that, have multiple curiosities that take like a couple days or so that way it's constantly ticking up the presents. While if you're going on vacation or something, or hiatus, that's kind of an ideal thing, so that way you're constantly gaining presents when you just fill out your study desk, and you should be fine. Alright, and Constitution, that one's also pretty easy because it's just how much health you have. Yeah, your Constitution, not only your max hit points, but it also affects the amount of stamina that is drained when you're swimming. So swimming is dangerous in this game. You can easily die and drown. So it's always best to start with a small little area to test, like maybe a few tiles wide. But you will drown fairly quickly, so be careful when you're swimming. Even if you have a decent constitution, I can barely swim maybe 4 or 5 tiles out with this amount of constitution, so do be careful. And now we are at one of the most important, starting off, is perception. perception is mostly used with your exploration. It's how you find many good curiosities out in the world and different things. But yeah, not to mention perception is also good for if you're using a marksman or something, you know, you're going ranged. You definitely want to focus on your perception and get that up as high as you can. But for general use, it's, you know, more is always better up until you can see some of the best curiosities. It's like about 1,000 something, or 10,000. They have to look at that, but just keep your exploration and perception up if you're like your main character you're exploring, or if you have an alt, you know. Exploration and perception is rather vital to find the good stuff. We'll leave it at that. Charisma, it's basically, you know, it's supposed to improve your quest rewards as well as affecting different builds like the merchant's hat, but I personally do not have much use for charisma. If you enjoy running around doing quests, then you can go ahead and use a little bit of charisma, won't hurt. And we have the farmer favorite, dexterity. Dexterity is pretty handy. It is used in a lot of things, especially with bows, I believe. Yes. With dexterity. Dexterity is used in a lot of crafting. I mean, obviously, if you got fat fingers, you can't really make a nice straw hat or stuff like that, or, you know, curiosities and such. But yeah, dexterity is pretty vital for you know, increasing the quality of things, and we'll briefly touch on quality as well because that is really important as well, and it is the main driving force of this game. But and next we will go to will. Now will, this is the fisherman's favorite. If you have really high will, you will be, you know, you will lose your hooks less, your fishing lines won't break as easy, and you know, the fish won't be stealing all your bait. And that's just with the bushcraft fishing pole. Once you have a primitive casting rod and you have lures, you can actually when you use the lures, you can kind of aim for a specific fish that you want to you know, catch. And it's not always guaranteed, but the higher the will you have, the easier it will be for you to get the fish that you need. Now, psych, this one is strange, as its only primary use, to my knowledge, is certain curiosities, as well as anything made with silk. And it's really hard to find psych food, so psych is kind of a, you know, an afterthought. Unless you're specifically going into silk farming, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But we go into abilities. Obviously, as you've seen, I most used unarmed combat in your melee combat. Basically, you know, the more you have, the more damage you do, and the more specifically unarmed combat, the more your restorations will be able to do. Yeah, your restorations, your unarmed attacks and stuff, it'll affect all of that. So it's good to have at least a good amount of it just for your restorations. And of course, you know, melee combat. Marksmanship, from what I understand on marksmanship, at least until you get to 40 or 50 marksmanship, I believe, you will want to stick with using a sling. because if you try to use a bow with very low or little marksmanship, it takes ages for you to aim and to shoot the arrow. So sling is very, very overpowered in my opinion, but don't let them know that. And once I get my marksman alt up, I'll show you exactly why it's really good for hunting. Exploration, I already touched it with perception. They'll help you with oh, I almost forgot one thing with perception, is the next stealth. So stealth, it does affect certain crafts, but the main use for stealth is both for rangers and criminals. Determines the visibility of scents based on perception times exploration versus your target's intelligence and stealth. So stealth is more for if you want to get away with crimes or so. You'd have to have, you know, really high stealth, but it's kind of redundant because a lot of people will have perception and exploration as they're out and about. So that's kind of a silly thing, but that's its main use, is to but it does makes the when you're tracking a scent, it makes the, you know, little pie slice thing, you know, it makes tracking a little easier. A higher stealth increases the cooldown on scents left by you if you're committing crimes. So like, you know, you can do trespass multiple times without leaving multiple scents, in other words. Alright, and then we have one of the kind of important ones, sewing. Sewing, you know, it's mostly it's your dexterity times your sewing. As you can see, like right here, I have 23 dexterity but 15 farming. So my soft cap, the best quality I can make will be 18. So if you don't have good crafting stats for that, then either make an alt or get the stats or ask somebody to craft it for you, so you don't waste, like let's say quality 50 straw. You'll only be making really crappy stuff with that. So do be careful, keep an eye out for your soft caps, and increase your stats as you need to, because it heavily impacts your the quality, and it's just progress as you go. It's good to have like a farming alt or so, or different things like that. The next one's smithing. It's kind of the same thing. It's a crafting ability, but it's, you know, mostly used for ores and stuff. Smithing takes your strength as well to calculate in a lot of its the crafting. And masonry. Masonry is a pretty important one to get, as it does impact the quality, the highest quality of clay you can find. Of course, you'll have to try multiple spots, but the clay and the stone that you find out, like in the mines, it'll always be capped by your masonry. So you'll want to keep that in mind. Like the highest ore or anything I will find will always be 20 until I raise it up. So I can find 11, 15, 12 ores or rocks I have, and I can find up to 20. So carpentry is a lot like you know, like sewing and smithing, except it's with wood. It primarily uses dexterity with it. Cooking uses perception as well as dexterity, I believe. Yeah, it uses a mix of perception and dexterity in combination of cooking. It's mostly baked goods that use dexterity, but a lot of other foods will take your perception and your cooking. farming is another very important skill. It's not just for like when you're planting out and about, but when you're finding those wild seeds or plants out in the world, they will be hard capped by your farming. So even having a little bit of farming for your exploration or whatever you use to go out in the world, the wind-sown seeds as well, once you get a high enough perception, you would grab those and you would stick them on the drying rack. And it just affects the highest quality that you can find. And now we go to the next most important ability is survival. Survival is everything. I mean, obviously, you know, but in this game, the survival is basically the quality. The highest quality, and it impacts so much, like trees, rocks, your curiosities that you find with your perception and exploration, just everything. Survival is mostly impacted by the tool quality, and it is used in quite a few of the early recipes as well. Let's see. I mean, go to any of them. We'll go to food, grub, survival, raw meat, survival. Let's go somewhere. We'll go to, yeah. Well, grass shirt's different, but the nettle shirt's one of the more important ones anyways. As well as various of your primitive buildings. Click on any of them. I see use stealth. Yeah, we don't like stealth here. Yeah. A lot of these can help you out a lot too. I really wish it affected the hide layers. Those are hard to get. Yeah, these will take sewing. But yeah, survival is the core thing. It impacts the quality of your water, the highest you can find. Branches, stuff, trees even. The trees around the world, in this world, they do have different varying qualities, so it impacts that too. But the biggest thing is the stuff you find out in the overworld, like the clovers, the dandelions, the snapdragons, dragonflies, anything and everything. It even includes hunting. Like if you only have 10 in survival or less, then you'll only find quality 10 rabbits. But I can find up to quality 40 rabbits or foxes or badgers or anything like that. So survival is a core skill to have on your explorer, your hunter. It never hurts to go with survival. One of the first things I do is to try to get up to at least 15 in exploration and at least 20 in survival. That's where I try to start with, and then I focus on to getting up to 15 to 20 unarmed and try to get my dexterity up so I can start doing the hunting down bats and stuff. Lore is mostly used for quality control. Various things like curiosities that you can. It's mostly used for various different curiosities and stuff. It's not too bad to have, but it's better to use like guildings or stuff, or just raise it enough for the soft cap that you need for whatever you're building or crafting. Yeah, it's about tomato. But I have yapped on long enough. I hope this briefly gave you some idea of the attributes and the abilities. You know, quality is a big thing, affects that. So it just more is always better. Just keep that motto in mind. And speaking of, I would say maybe having at least 30 and unarmed, as well as having probably about 20 plus in agility to start fighting foxes. Let's go start with the next part. I guess we'll do it with the chop combo, because you will not have quick barrage for this. I just seen the fox. Where'd you go? Oh no. Yes, we have a fox in sight. This was. Now you only want to fight foxes if you cannot find a wild horse to use. We'll go to sprint. Get that up. We gotta get green down here. Alright, get the green up. Get some initiative points with low blow. Keep our green down. The only thing I don't like about this combo here. Get some chops in. Nice. And if you have at least, a little better than 10, you should be okay. We got ourselves a nice fox. It's really ideal to have chop with you, chop and low blow, up until you get quick barrage and full circle. The full circle you can get from the bats. Quick barrage you get from foxes. You can get them from other animals too, but those are the two common ones you can get them from. If you're using swords and stuff, just keep in mind the quality. Your character will automatically try to, work on the carcass with the sword. So just make sure you can use the inspect. Inspect is another neat little. Fuck you too. Is another neat little thing. You see, quality of 25. Alright, so we'll get this guy butchered up, and we'll see. Okay, that'll be all for now. Try not to make this any longer than I have to, or that I can't help. And I do apologize, it's really hard for me to find. It's really hard for me to not yappin going through things, but if this has helped you learn or understood a bit more about combat, armor values, and a bit about your attributes, as well as the combat, some of what the combat is. One thing I forgot, just ignore this U. It's kind of a placeholder that Loftar uses in his calculations. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 1.5 or 2.5 or something. Just ignore it. I know it was bugging me a lot when I was first looking through and trying to figure this stuff out years ago. But no, it's it's just pretty much a placeholder Loftar uses. As well as the different colors. The more openings you have, as you've seen, you want to keep yours low and theirs high. The more openings that they have, the more damage they will take. I'm not sure if I said that, but here we go, trying to fix myself, I guess. But yeah, the more openings, the more damage the target will take, whether that is you or the enemy. So make sure you use your restorations as you see fit. It's really pointless to do it under 30 because it's just going to keep going up and up. I do know it gets harder to get openings up after a time. Like if you do nothing but spam punch, it'll go up to like 60, then it will slowly go up to 70. It'll be even harder to get it up to like 80 or something. It has something to do with the can't remember if it's the agility, because agility does impact it as well. I don't know if I forgot to mention that. If not, I do apologize. But agility also impacts the amount of openings that will be inflicted onto that target. Like trying to punch a lynx is not a good idea. Not to mention they have armor. When you get done with foxes, if you want to try something better, you at least want a tinkerer's axe or better before you think about fighting a boar or a wolverine badger. If you're confident, I mean obviously if you're confident enough in your melee abilities, it never hurts to try. Just be careful with the boars. Once you get confident with the foxes, you can try going against badgers and wolverines. They're kind of like the midway point between the fox and the boar. So yeah, but because the boars, they can have a chance to execute you. It's very small, but it's nothing like the lynx, the moose, and the bear, which I highly recommend you just, you hit your travel to Hearth if you see one, or at least go the long way around. Lynxes, they're pretty much the race car of death, because they move like a horse on full sprint. And they usually, as soon as they enter like the mini-map, they have a chance to just aggro onto you, and you'll see why I call it the race car of death, because yeah. But most of the time they're kind of timid. They'll show up and then they'll run away. But if you're unlucky, it's bad news bear. But you can use burrows and the random things burrows to you pop in there, and then you immediately hit travel to Hearth fire, because boars and anything stronger than that can and will destroy the burrow, and it will knock you unconscious as well as kicked out. So be careful with that. That's a little bit of a survival tip, I guess. But yeah, that'll be it. I'm trying not to keep going with this. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I very much appreciate you. If you consider leaving me a like, drop a comment down below if you have any questions or any comments, about different stuff, or if there's something in particular you wish to be covered. I'll try to be on as I can be, and I'll try to help you out. It'll be easier for me to look into the comments section when I check that, and to try to immediately reply. I try to. It's been busy at work in real life, so it's kind of. But I will get to you. Don't worry. And yeah, I suppose that'll be it for now. Thank you for watching. Y'all try to have a wonderful day, and subscribe if you wish to see more. Alrighty. Peace out.